It looks like you guys can see it. All right. So on average, there are over 20 million videos uploaded daily to YouTube. Now, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? And how can I even stand out if there's 20 million videos uploaded every day to YouTube? But here's the thing, I want you to stick with me because I'm going to show you that it's actually easier to stand out than you think. But before we do that, if you think of just the 20 million uploads a day number, it can be very overwhelming if you're creating generic information and if you focus on everyone, and then if you have zero strategy. If you're here, if you're part of the Nets world, if you're on LinkedIn, chances are you already have your niche carved out and you already know who you're serving. You know that you have an area of expertise, and whatever that is, you offer something that's unique. It's not generic, and you likely have a strategy. So a lot of that can transfer over to YouTube as well. And on YouTube, if you focus on quality over quantity, this is where YouTube's a lot different than LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, is that the requirement or the minimum requirement of YouTube when you have a channel is to upload one video a week. That's it. So when you compare that to what you're doing on social media, where it's like multiple times a day, if you're on TikTok or Instagram, even Facebook, LinkedIn, it's like every day, every other day. You know, YouTube, it may take a little bit more time to create that video, but if you do it with quality instead of focusing on quantity, then you're already set up to win. If you focus on a targeted niche, so you already have that defined on LinkedIn, that can very easily be transferred over to YouTube. So you've already got that part done. And then if you have a strategy, and that's something that I help clients do as well, but you need to have a strategy and understand, like, why are you creating content? Who is it for? How often? And just walk through all of the steps in order to be consistent, which is the same thing we do on LinkedIn as well, right? So the 20 million, when you think of it in that perspective, it's irrelevant. And really what you need to do is look at YouTube like, I talked about this in a video the other day. Every channel creator is like a snowflake. Each one is different. So even though there's 20 million videos uploaded every single day, and there's tons of channels, there is no channel. There's no two channels that are exactly alike. So what that means for you, if you have a channel, if you don't have a channel, you're thinking about starting a channel, you have the unique experience and the unique perspective that nobody else has. That's what makes you different, and that's how people are going to find you. And we've talked before on LinkedIn, if you follow any of my posts, I do talk about that subscribers don't guarantee views anymore. People that I've talked to in the past, one of the things that was holding them back from starting YouTube or being consistent with YouTube was that they thought they had to have a large audience. And the fact is, you don't even need subscribers to get your videos viewed and to get those videos with links or lead magnets, the leads that go to you that you can then ultimately convert to a sale. The way YouTube works is not based on your profile, it's based on the video and the quality of that content. So subscribers should be irrelevant at this point. It matters in other things, but not when it comes to getting your videos viewed. What matters the most, and it comes down to the quality of the video, is watch time. How much are people going to watch your video? And that comes into the strategy and the structure of the video, which I'll get into here in just a moment. And really the strategy that you put into place puts all creators on the same playing field. So if you're just getting started, if you've got 5,000 subscribers, if you've got 1 million subscribers, we all have the same opportunity to get reach and connect with our ideal customers who then ultimately are going to buy from us, right? And we know that video is the best way to create know, like, and trust, right? And especially with AI, which I'll talk about here in a minute as well. Now, YouTube you've probably heard people talk about getting paid through YouTube, which is the YouTube Partner Program. That's where you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours. Here's a reason why you should not focus on only that as a way to make sales or get paid through YouTube. YouTube creators, this was in 2023, but the same is true, regardless of the date, that it's unpredictable because it's something that's out of our control. And in this case, YouTube creators say video revenue down up to 90%. Something is definitely off. So when you don't control the algorithm and you have no idea what you might be making from month to month, it becomes a little bit risky to put all of your eggs in that one basket. So what I'm talking about is something completely different. Okay, so your income, when it comes to what you control and how you convert your viewers into leads and those leads into sales, really comes down to how you get views on your videos. And really, it's all about the right views, right? So that's going back to, Brenda talked about it, Stella talked about it. I think Jillian did, but I got in a little bit late because I was having a hard time logging in. But it's all about knowing who you're targeting, right? So when you have the right views, then you already have a captured audience and a captivated audience. And then of course having a business model in place for that as well. So one of the personal branding coaches that I've worked with before, here is an example of how that works. So she created a YouTube video. Her call to action was book a call. From that call, she closed a $30,000 offer. And that video had 736 views. So it doesn't take a ton of views. It doesn't take a ton of subscribers. In fact, I've worked with somebody before where he posted his video and within the first 2 hours, he made a sale. He had 0 subscribers, but it was because the video was created and structured to target the right audience that he wanted to work with, and then just the video itself and how we structured it. Okay, so how does this work? Content messaging and your offer need to align. So if you're talking about how to start a business, then your messaging, your lead magnet, everything around that needs to focus on how to start a business, right? You don't want to talk about how to start a garden. It needs to align in order for people to take that next step after watching your video. The second thing, again, is focusing on quality over quantity. And then when you look at how much you make on your own through your own efforts on your videos and not through YouTube itself, you are getting paid so much more on your own content per view than you would through the YouTube Partner Program. And this is just a comparison, is $40.76 on your content versus about $6 if you get paid through YouTube. So there's a huge gap there. And when you focus on yourself and what you can do, that's where the real magic and the real money is. I wanted to bring this up because Marcus Sheridan is on LinkedIn, and he mentioned this about 2 months ago. YouTube is quickly becoming more important to your brand than your website. That is something to think about. In fact, I think Gary Vaynerchuk, there's a couple of other, big name people in the industry that are talking about this. So think back when websites started to become a thing, right? And you're like, I don't need a website. And then you wait and you're like, oh, how am I going to catch up? So with YouTube, it's not too late to catch up. But if you don't have one, if you're not focused on it, what are you waiting for, right? So I would say get started sooner than later. How you do that, this is my 3-part framework. This is actually what I teach inside my programs. So I'm giving this to you guys. So really, it's all about creating a video series. So you need about 4 or 5 videos that are all interrelated on a particular topic that you can create and put in a playlist. And I'll show that to you here on another screen. And that content needs to support your lead magnet, your offer, and then having a playlist is going to help you get more reach and share that with more people in an easy way, in a faster way to get more views on your videos. Having that lead magnet needs to support your key offer. Now, if it's typically people are creating these not for, like a $97 program, they're doing this for like mid to high ticket offers, something around $5,000, $10,000 or higher. And so when you have this process in place, you're able to capture attention. And while you have their attention on your video, they've got the option to click that link, get the lead magnet. Now they're on your email list. And so Brendan mentioned it too, like everybody should have an email list, right? So that's where you have more control. You ultimately are the algorithm in that case. So you want to make sure that you're able to capture someone's attention while they're on your video. Okay, and then your video structure. If you've watched anything with YouTube or heard anybody talking about videos on YouTube, there's a certain structure, especially at the very beginning of your video, that you need to have in place. And this is it. This is the formula. You need to have a compelling thumbnail. And just think of it from your perspective too, as a user on YouTube. when you're searching for something, how do you go about figuring out which video that you're going to click on? And typically you're looking at the thumbnail first because we're visual beings. And so you'll look at that, but pay attention to like why you clicked on that, right? It's because there was something in the messaging or the colors or the person or whatever that image is that drew you in so that you're like, I'm going to click on that. Or let me see what that title is next to it, which is the next thing, and see what that has to say. Those two have to be congruent. They have to match. And that's going to be the combination of those two things are going to be what compels someone to actually click and watch your video. The third part of this formula that's really important is the hook. And we've talked about this on everything. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram and TikTok. The same thing is true on YouTube. It's either that first line that you're writing on LinkedIn, or it's the very first things that you're saying in your video. That's going to solidify to the viewer that what you're talking about in the video matches what you said the title was and the thumbnail was going to be. Once you've done that and you've said something compelling enough to capture their attention, draw them in, that's going to get them to watch your video longer. So there's practice to that, right? I know I'm just saying it to be like, just do it. It does take some muscle memory to actually do that, but in order to do that, you have to take action, you have to practice, you have to do it, right? Just like with anything else. But when you do this and you get yourself out there and put yourself on camera, which I know is hard for some of you to do, I can help you with that too, is that you're building trust in the people who are actually watching you. And that's ultimately what's going to help them buy from you later. Okay, so just take a look at these two titles and tell me which one would you click on? How to build your dream business fast, which sounds compelling at first, right? But then when you compare it to the second one, give me 12 minutes and I'll save you 17 years of trying to build your dream business. So the 12 minutes is the length of the video, and then the 17 years is the number of years that you've been doing it yourself. And you're going to share that with someone to help them speed through the entire process, right? So when you do something like that, you put some thought into the title, what's going to capture someone's attention, what's going to help them like actually click on this video and say, I've got to watch this. That's where the real magic is in YouTube. Now, this is really interesting because here's an example. I told you I was going to show you a screenshot of playlists. So this is one of the playlists on my channel, How to Make Money on YouTube as a New or Small Channel. This video that I've circled, Day One Leads, it was actually 2 or 3 days ago. I got another lead on this video, and you can even go to the video and see the comments. But she said, I need help monetizing my YouTube channel. So of course I reached out to her. But it's just an example of, and you can see this one was from, my screen's super small, but I think it says 8 months ago. So this video was created 8 months ago, and I'm still getting leads on this. So this is another way that YouTube is completely different than social media, is that when you create, it stays out there forever. And I've got another example too on the next screen to show you, like within the last 48 hours of this screenshot that I'll pull up, it'll show you the impact that these videos have. So in this case, she said, I need help monetizing my channel. That video has 93 views. Again, you don't need a huge audience. You can see I've got like 1,900 subscribers. You don't need a ton of views on your videos to actually get leads that convert. Her and I are in discussions right now to see what that next step's going to be for her, but it'll lead to something bigger and definitely monetized. Shelf life. Here we go. This was from this morning. So there's in the analytics, you can look at the top performing videos within the last 48 hours. So that's what this is. And you can see, and I circled the published date. So I think this is really important to also consider when you're looking at the content that you're creating, right? So when you're creating content for LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, it's constant. So you'll see in my posts, I'm talking about, the content hamster wheel, which I know is important for building brand awareness and staying in front of your target audience. So YouTube is a great complement for that because you don't have to do that. It's not like you're doing it on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It's like do LinkedIn and YouTube and you're good to go. So in this case, the last or top 5 videos in the last 48 hours were from, this was the most recent YouTube short I did. So that's the first one. But then the other ones are from 2023, not too long ago, 2025. We got 2023 and 2024. So this is an example of how your shelf life gets extended with content and videos that you're creating on YouTube. This is live. So this was as of this morning. I wanted to make sure I had the latest and greatest. So it just shows you that when you create content for YouTube, you can kind of like relieve some of that anxiety or like, I gotta post something when you're creating a video just once a week. Okay. And your personal brand right now, because of AI, and there's so many people creating content. I forget what the number was. I think it was like the equivalent of like 175,000 newspapers or something. There's that much content created every single day because there's so many creators right now that it's harder and harder to stand out. So your personal brand, you, the face of your brand, is the only differentiator left. AI is pretty much taking that away from us. There's good things and bad things. I love AI, and I was listening to the discussion with the panel earlier too, and loved it. But just thinking through like how can you stand out, being present on camera, even for those of you who are challenged, is the best way to actually make that happen. So we're seeing two extremes right now on YouTube. So one thing is like big budget, thoughtful storytelling, which is what my guest flex is all about. But then we've also gotten back to the raw, relatable vlog styles where you're like taking a camera, you're in your car, you're setting it up, and you're just talking. Very little editing, not worried about your background or how you look. You could be in your gym clothes or headed to the grocery store or wherever, but you're getting on the camera and you're talking, and it's authentic and it's real and it's you and it's in the moment. Those are the types of videos that people are really connecting with right now. Now, that's one of the more popular forms of videos from back in the day, but it's making a comeback. And so that's something that you'll want to take a look at. You know, if you're thinking, I don't have the budget for editing, or I don't like all the fancy editing, that is pretty much out. Unless you're doing YouTube shorts, you can do more of that. But for the long form videos, the horizontal ones, those are the ones that are going to, it's a great place to start. And now is a great time to do it. So you can scan the QR code there if you want to, if you're interested in either one of these. The one on the right, the Authority Amplifier, is my program. It's a monthly program. I'm doing a $47 first month into the program, and then it's $97 monthly after that. So if you're interested, the QR code will get to my email address. Just send me an email, say I'm interested. I'll send you the link and we'll get you set up. So 3 key takeaways. 1, don't overthink it. It's not that difficult. Even I had the hardest time getting on camera when I first got started, and it can be a challenge, but here's the thing. Record videos and delete them or just save them. When you record a video, it doesn't mean you have to publish it, right? But when you record a video, you're at least building up that muscle memory. It's just like going to the gym. You can't be completely skinny, no muscle tone at all, go in, work out for 2 hours and come back and like be, completely buff and all muscular. It takes time. And the same thing is true with video. So, but you don't need to overthink it. Okay. Second thing is to have a strategy. Know why you're doing it, what type of content you're going to create, who your market is, what your call to actions are going to be, what are your lead magnets going to be, all of the things that are going to set you up for a successful channel, but then also help set you up for successful sales. Okay. And then I love the phrase from Nike, just do it. Kind of goes back to then don't overthink it. But at the same time, when you're not overthinking it and you just take action, that's the best way to move forward. Even if the first one is awful, you can go back and look at my first video, anybody's first video, it's going to be terrible. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And it's okay. But posting that first video terrible is the best way to just take action and put it behind you. And if you haven't seen the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner, that'll take you to my YouTube channel. So I suggest that you subscribe to that. I actually have my very first Guest Flicks production. I did the first one, and I've got 9 out of the 10 episodes published. The last one's going to be published on Saturday. And it's a great example of like what I'm talking about. You'll definitely want to go and watch that. It's called Confessions of an Invisible CEO. So that is what I have. I look forward to you. If you have questions, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn or on the event page.
Well, thank you so much, Vicki. That was really great. You're such a pro with YouTube, and it's such a refresher to know that you don't have to have those 1,000 subscribers because it takes forever.